Hi everyone, welcome back to the London Premier League show. It's been a while since we've been here, just conflicting schedules, busy time period. So apologies for that, but we're back now and we're going to try and bring you some content throughout the summer. So we'll go straight into it. This is the season review, but we're going to start off with the European finals at the end of the season before we go into each of our clubs' respective seasons. We'll start off with James, the latter stages of the Europa League, West Ham. Your thoughts? Any regrets or proud of the team, basically?
No, I don't think we can have any regrets. I think we're very proud of the team. We just gutted. We just fell at that final hurdle to get to the final. But Frankfurt played well. I just think towards the end of the season, which I'll talk about the Premier League, I just think we just ran out of steam. The squad wasn't strong enough, and it was just proven in that latter stages of like tournaments like that. But you got to credit the boys. I know there was a lot of talk about Cresswell and sending offs and things like that. But the experience as a whole has definitely brought the fans closer to the players and the club. We've had some terrific evenings at the London Stadium with like Seville and Lyon coming there, brilliant evenings. But it was just a shame we didn't quite get to the final. It would have been nice to have got to a final. I renewed my passport in time. That all came back in time, and then we just fouled at the final hurdle. And it would have been good to have played against Rangers. I think that would have been one hell of a moment in that final. But yeah, you've got to be proud of the boys. It's good for Mark Noble his last season, even though he didn't get on that much, but he's experienced it. And I think certain players, Declan Rice, it made him a better player. I think it's improved him, Jared Bowen, and even Antonio against some of them teams played really well, but we just lacked that extra, that extra sort of one or two players that we could have either bought on or just had in starting for us, and we were struggling with injuries, Zuma and Bonner losing of Bonner for most of the season during that, you're relying on Dawson, who was outstanding, but we were just struggling towards the end. But yeah, very proud of the team. I think it was good experience. And then obviously we've still got Europe next season, albeit in the conference. But if we can negotiate a couple of dodgy teams, who knows what could happen? Similar to maybe Roma or even Leicester. But there we go, yeah.
Xanthan, any thoughts on the Europa League final, or like you weren't too
In,
bothered about
in
the
West Ham
final?
did do really well to get to the position they did. And when you take into account that they finished seventh in the Premier League as well, I think I remember we said in the start of the season that they were going to have to trade off one thing or the other, but they somehow managed to salvage a bit of both. I think it would have been lovely if they'd won it. They would have got the Champions League, so you wouldn't have to worry about the position of where they finished in the league. But given that, West Ham's capabilities, the squad, the budget, finishing seventh, only behind Man United, Tottenham, top six clubs, and then finishing only semi-finals and then maybe fourth round or quarter-final exits in every other cup. I think that's a good season, but I think I am a bit gutted only because I feel like this could have been West Ham's one and only chance, maybe. It's kind of giving me that an England vibe, everything was kind of going their way. Barcelona was out, Napoli was out, the big teams were out. I think if there was any season that West Ham had the potential to win it, I think it was definitely this season.
Yeah. I'll just briefly, I agree with both of you, to be honest. I agree with James. In fact, I wanted West Ham to win it purely just so that's an extra team that can banter Spurs, to be honest. So, and so to me, the final itself, it wasn't that great. Understandable, big occasion for both teams. Like, you never know when next you're going to be in the European final. The final, I'll probably say Frankfurt edged it. Got it for Rangers, obviously. I wanted to see, I agree with James, I wanted to see a West Ham Rangers final. Thought that would have been brilliant, but yeah, it wasn't to be. I think West Ham have had a good season, a great season, to be honest. In fact, Razan saying being able to balance Europe and domestic duties with the lack of squad depth compared to the big six clubs. So yeah, I agree with both. And I think West Ham, they've had a good season. But moving on, Champions League final, Liverpool, Real Madrid. I'll start with this. I'm absolutely delighted because for the whole season or from February onwards, I'll admit, the quadruple, I was like, it's not gonna happen. But when it got to the start of May, I was like, hold on, no, when we lost the cup final, I was like, hold on, this is happening right in front of my eyes. It's actually gonna happen. Thankfully, City they eased my fears on the last day of the season. Although they made hard work of that. I'll tell you, when City were 2-0 down, it was really panic stations for me. Like my heart was racing, I could feel it. So thankfully, City got the job done. Real Madrid, for me, their football heritage has carried them over the line. I don't know. Right now, I still don't know how City didn't knock them out. I thought, like, to be fair, even second leg, we should have knocked them out, but we made Kante cost us 2 goals. So fair enough. Real Madrid, they did deserve to go through against us because of the mistakes we made. City, I don't know how. Till this day, I don't know how. If they play that game 100 times, they probably go through 99 times. But that one time, they lack of focus. Ruben Diaz in extra time, reckless, diving in on Benzema to give away the penalty. And once Real Madrid led, that was the only time in the whole night that I knew Real Madrid were going through. Once they led, I knew that's it. City aren't coming back. And Real Madrid fully deserve it. Beaten England's top 3 teams in the league this season. So no one can really say it's a fluke or anything. I thought what made the difference for them this season, Ancelotti making crucial subs at the right times, just to freshen things up when Real Madrid looked a bit dead on their feet, mainly Rodrigo and Camavinga. So I thought those two especially made the difference for them in the tight knockout games, just to edge the fine margins in their favor, I would say. Anyone can go next. It's up to either of you. Who wants to go next?
I don't mind. I'll just quickly. I'm a little bit different to you. See, if there's a British team in the final, I'd want them to win, regardless of who they are. And I think we have to credit. Yeah, you say about you thought the quadruple was never going to be on, never be on. Yeah, and it is a hard thing to do, but Liverpool played this season every possible game they could play. And that's credit. They got to every single game that was on offer for them. At the start of the season, they were in the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Champions League, and the Premier League. And they played every game that was available, albeit they lost the Champions League and they came runners-up in the Premier League. But Liverpool were unlucky, I felt. But it was destined for Real Madrid to win it. Benzema was outstanding. And you said it, highlighted it a little bit. You look at the teams they beat along the way to get to that final and then to beat Liverpool in the final. They deserved it, no matter how much luck you have. Yeah, they probably had more luck. They probably used up all their luck this season for the next sort of 5 seasons. But they deserved it. And you've got to credit someone like Benzema, who was outstanding. And the manager is one of my favourites. So it's good to see him back, considering he was like at Everton only a few seasons ago.
Yeah, just before Razanfon goes, to me, I'll just add to what James said. I think, me personally, it's the toughest Champions League run I've ever seen in terms of the knockout stage to win the trophy, in my opinion. And it doesn't really get much tougher than the teams Real Madrid beat consecutively in each round. But yeah, Razanfon, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think Liverpool, as a rival fan, I have to give them my respect as well. Because like what Sion said, the fact that in May, they were still en route to win 4 trophies is a big achievement. I mean, I was even talking to some Liverpool fans at work. Like, had they won all the trophies, best team for me personally in the world, this, I think, personally overtakes the Barcelona 6 trophies they won. You can argue, yeah, Barcelona had the greatest player in the world, but you got to realize Jurgen Klopp managed to do it with this Liverpool squad. It's not the world best, have some average players, and he managed to make a fine work of it. You know, when you consider January, Sadio Mane and Salah were out, Africa Cup of Nations, 2 of their biggest players were out, and they had to deal with that. Had some injuries throughout the season as well, here and there, not many major ones as compared to last season, but they still, had to deal with it. And like what Mr. Jackson said, they basically played every game they could. I think in total, overall, I think maybe lost, 4 or 5 games out of the 50, 60 games they played this season. And I was shook, I'll be honest. I was worried, after the FA Cup final, I thought that was it. It was destined for them. And I feel like had some things just gone Liverpool's way, they could have easily won that quadruple. I say easily, but they made it look easy. They made it seem like it wasn't tough. They made it seem like getting to the final was just mandatory, like there was no excuses. And yep. I think personally, I have to give credit where it's due. I think if you ask a Liverpool fan right now, they'll say it's a disappointing season. And it just hurts me because I know as a United fan, there's no United fan that'll say we've had a good season or even an average season. And when you have Liverpool fans debating whether they've had a good season or not, that's the standards that we should be competing for. like just a tiny part of me just wish Liverpool just won the quadruple just so that it could just knock some sense into United and just see this is the competition, this is what we're facing,
That's
this is
the
where
level.
we should be, this is where we've gone to. It's like the switch and decline is just it's unacceptable for me. But yeah, I think Liverpool definitely deserve to win it. I mean, sorry, Real Madrid definitely deserve to win it. As you said, the teams they faced, they faced all three English teams leading up to the final, and in each knockout stage they were behind, and they managed to turn it around. I think I think also the added factor of me just personal favoritism, just Benzema. I think had he not won that Champions League, I think the Ballon d'Or wouldn't be as tight. But I think now it's just clear that Benzema has to win Ballon d'Or. I think there's no debate about that. He's been phenomenal this season. You know, it's been crucial. 15 goals, I think was it maybe 9 or 10 in the knockout stages alone. Just phenomenal.
Contribution of Courtois as well. Fantastic
Courtois,
performance.
yeah, another player. He was amazing in the final. I think in the final, the semi-final, he really did carry it, and I don't think he gets the respect he deserves.
Yeah, I agree.
As he did mention in the interview.
Yeah, he mentioned in that. Yeah, he mentioned that in the post-match, hitting out at some of his, mainly the English critics. Anything else to add, James, or time to move on?
Time to move on.
All right. So now we delve into our clubs' respective seasons. We'll start with James. Just briefly summarize West Ham season on the whole and give it a rating out of 10.
No, I've said quite a bit already, but just going back to it, I think at one stage, you could have said they were looking for top four, but I think every sort of honest West Ham fan would have thought that was really, you could see with the depth of the squad, and that, although there was times where we were like a point or two behind top four place, you knew we wouldn't be able to sustain it. And I just think I was reading a few things recently about how, the top six are in the top six and West Ham are just beneath it. And so I think for a West Ham fan, you've got to be happy with that. Yeah, we sort of lost a few games and drew a few games towards the end that we should have probably won. But again, I just think that the Europa League just cost us a little bit in terms of the Premier League because we were playing so many games. It was like 2 games a week up until right until the end of the season, really. So it was quite tough going. But I think, some standout players for us this season. Craig Dawson, unbelievable. To get him from Watford didn't want him at all. We took him on loan, then we signed him for I don't know how much, $1 million or something. I think he was outstanding and still is outstanding. Fabianski had a good season because he was under pressure with Aurelio, who was playing in the Europa League in goal. So, you've got players like that. Declan Rice improves game on game and is becoming like the new Mark Noble. But if honest, and Mark won't mind me saying this, is slightly better than Mark Noble. And then you've got people, who's, the real star really for West Ham has been Jared Bowen. The way he's come on and, the lad, started at Hereford. Hereford went out of business. He's been around the lower leagues. He was at Hull. He he would have got an England call up before, but he was injured. So I'm so glad he's got it now. And he's played and he's looked quite good. He played that first game. Who was that against? Was that Hungary, wasn't it, or something? Or that they played?
Yeah.
And they lost, but he looked really good. He came on, I think, off the bench against Germany. So Jared Bowen's, he's a real improved player, gives us things. But I just think we need sort of still a bit more players going into the new season. But overall, the Sanford mentioned it earlier on. You got to remember, I think we beat Man City on penalties in the League Cup to stop their run of them winning the League Cup for 4 or 5 seasons. We beat Man United, I think, in the FA Cup. And we beat top teams at home. The likes of Chelsea and that. We beat a lot of the top 6. And we even drew on the last game of the season with Man City at home.
Beat
the
Liverpool
last home game.
Liverpool at home in the league as well.
Yeah, beat Liverpool. And we drew with Man City in Mark Noble's last home game. What I will finish by saying, it was a good season for Mark Noble to finish. You're not going to see many players do 18 years in a club from now on. Good service, left a legacy now of the expectation of what is to be a captain and how to look after the club. I think overall for a West Ham fan, we'd be quite happy. Disappointed we didn't quite reach the final. I think even if we got to the final and lost the final, albeit against Rangers maybe, it would have been hard to take, but it would have just made that, there are some fans, West Ham fans, that think, we ended up with nothing. Well, think on from 2 or 3 years ago when there's people running on the pitch at the London Stadium demanding that we're rubbish and get the ball out and all that. You know, one last thing I think I need to add, and he should have probably got it last season. Should have been in the running this season. David Moyes, unbelievable. You know, amazing manager to come back, having not really given. He did well the first time at West Ham to keep us up. They binned him, and then to offer it back, for him to come back showed a lot of character. And when he came back, for what he's done in the last season and a half, 2 seasons at West Ham, is amazing. And his backroom staff is superb. Be interesting who they replaced him with, because we've lost Stuart Pearce. He's left the club. But yeah, overall, very happy. Thank you.
And rating out of 10?
For West Ham,
yeah,
if they got to the final of the Europa League, it would have been a 9. So I'm going for an 8 because I'm honest, I'm happy. And I've been supporting West Ham for years, so it's very rare we've had seasons like this. You know, we're battling relegation normally. So definitely an 8, solid 8.
All right, I'll go next. I'll start off with the rating and then I'll go delve into it. So season's a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, something there. Mainly because of the cup competitions, I'll be honest. And if it wasn't for the take away that Club World Cup and Super Cup, we're talking 4 or 5. League season obviously underwhelming considering what we were tipped to do at the start by many fans, pundits, rival fans, etc. So league campaign underwhelming, 3rd, but miles behind the top 2, Liverpool and Man City, the best 2 teams in the country. We did well in the cups, fine margins in 2 domestic cup finals, losing to Liverpool. If we'd won those both, I would, even despite the underwhelming season, I probably would have given the season 7.5 or 8 with 4 trophies. But we didn't. So 6.5. Our standout players of the season for me. I know Mason Mount won our Player of the Year. I'm shocked by that. He's been nowhere near as good as last season. Our standout players for me have been Rudiger and Thiago Silva this season. Rudiger obviously now leaves for Real Madrid. He'll be a big loss. We need to replace him adequately. Thiago Silva for me, legend of the game, 37 years of age, and he's not looked at all his age this season, saving us on multiple occasions in the league, especially with his reading of the game, goal line clearances in the Champions League against Juve. Just an example of like him reading the game and anticipating danger before our other defenders. Even in the League Cup final as well, Salah chipped it. It was going wide, but Silva wasn't to know that, and he still got there in time to clear it off the line. So yeah, Thiago Silva for me, him or Rudiger would have probably deserved Player of the Year, I think. But Mount, he has improved his numbers, but his performances haven't been as good as last season. But he did get 10, I think it was 11 goals, 10 assists in the league. So his output's improved, but I actually think the standard of his performances went down. So yeah, that's how I'll summarize our season. Still need to improve in certain areas for next season, especially with some of the players we're losing, mainly at the back. But yeah, so 6.5 out of 10 for me. Razanthan, Man United.
It's going to be a bit of a brutal one. 2 out of 10. I think 2 out of 10 just simply because we just got Europa League. That was it. Nothing else was achieved. Like you said, going into the season, we had big expectations, big signings. You know, I guess the pressure was on us in a sense. When you sign the likes of Ronaldo, Varane, you know, and then when you think about the first game of the season, the way we started, 5-1 against Leeds, you know, Pogba looking like he's back to his old self. You thought, you know, we was going to hit some great achievements, you know, maybe win a trophy or 2. Didn't happen. It just went south very quickly. I think we could have salvaged something by the end of the season, post Ole, but because the way I see it is Tottenham managed to get a top 4 finish with Conte, despite the situation that he was in. I remember we even beat them 3-0 away. This was the same Ole that beat them 3-0 away on Nuno, and somehow they managed to trump us to top 4 place. And I remember when looking at results in the past, draws against Burnley, Watford at home, these are crucial games that we could have won, but we just didn't. We didn't take the points. And I know it's easy for me to say we could have easily taken top 4, but had we won those results, we could have picked Tottenham. And I guess you can say there's an element of luck as well, with Tottenham having some great results go their way, the Leicester game, the Man City game, some of the games they did, have to get a bit of luck, and it worked out for them eventually. But I can't help but think we could have, I would have been, I guess, okay with a top four finish, having what went down in the beginning of the season. But yeah, this season's been very terrible. I think standout player, which is Ronaldo, he carried us multiple times
The hair as well,
with his
very good.
standalone hat tricks. I think, yeah, there's not much. There wasn't many bright sparks this season. I think we failed to beat any top six teams, or maybe one or twice. Got knocked out of the competition very early. Half-hearted attack in the Champions League game against Atletico. We drew 1-1, but then we lost at home. Like I said, we got knocked out by West Ham, and I think it was League Cup and FA Cup. I can't remember who it was, but it wasn't a great season considering the expectations and what was thought we had the potential to achieve coming into the season. So, and just considering the fact that I remember watching the last game of the season, we only got sixth because West Ham, I think they lose, or if we won.
Yeah, lost to Brighton, lost away at Brighton.
Lost to Brighton. So it's the fact that we also lost against Crystal Palace, but somehow West Ham not doing ended up
Brighton got United Europa League. Brighton.
Pretty much, yeah. So had West Ham won, we would be in Conference League right now.
Then that we're talking 0.5 or 1 out of 10.
It's impossible to give 0, so I would have given 1. I think 2 is just it's like a participation rating.
Writing your name on the label.
You did your service. You just collect your medal and go home.
All right. So conscious of the time left, we're just going to briefly the end of season awards. Just one topic in particular: Son not being in the contention for PFA Player of the Year or Team of the Year. I can't believe it, guys. I'm stunned, to be honest.
I don't know what's gone on there. I can't see why.
I'm stunned.
He's not been made the Team of the Year, or even won it. Like the lad was amazing. The lad was amazing. He is phenomenal. Like the service he gives to Kane and that, and even the goals he scores. He'd walk into any team in the world. And I just couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that. But who am I? Salah was a worthy winner, I think, of the Player of the Year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Who could you take out of the Team of the Year to put Son in then? Who's alongside Salah?
I think I'd have to take Mane out.
Mane's in. For me, Son's had a better season than Mane. For me, like personally,
he had a better season than Ronaldo.
Yeah, he has. Of course, he has.
Does Ronaldo just get in because of his name?
Maybe.
I think Ronaldo, the poor quality of the United team, I think to score 18 league goals in that team is quite commendable, to be honest. Considering me,
Is he the only United player?
Mane out.
Is he the only United player in the 11?
Yeah.
And the other 10 are divided up between what?
So it's Ronaldo, Antonio Rudiger, and then Man City and Liverpool.
Okay. Rudiger's.
Razvan, anything?
Yeah, I think it is a bit of a disgrace that Son's not in it. I think it's definitely between Ronaldo and Mane. I think one of the two have to go. I think maybe if there was another top 3 player, both would have to go. But I think after Salah and Son, I think Ronaldo would be the next option. Maybe Jota if he had just got that 1 or 2 extra goals, since he did help carry Liverpool during the season, during the period where Salah and Mane were off on the Africa Cup of Nations. But yeah, it's just, I think it's unbelievable. Even De Bruyne winning PFA Team of the Player of the Year, I think, yeah, he's a great player, but this season, he wasn't up to his standards. He only got 8 assists. On the average, he gets around 15 to 20 a season, 10 goals. This season, I'm not saying De Bruyne wasn't crucial off the ball, but when you have, stats like even Salah, shared top goal scorer and shared top assister, it's no doubt. And Son, most non-penalty goals. If he excludes Salah's penalty goals, Son will be top scorer. And when you consider that you've got a striker like Kane as well, and somehow you're competing with goals, there's just no doubt.
Okay, so we were gonna go into what you think your team needs to strengthen next season, but I've thought ahead. But there's going to be other shows we'll do throughout the summer where we'll talk
We can
about
do a
what our
pre-season,
team
a
needs.
pre-season show.
Yeah, we'll
Discuss
do
all
that.
that.
We'll discuss transfers and what our team needs in future shows. We'll be doing shows throughout the summer. We've got a quiz coming up. Just briefly to end the show, just your thoughts on some of the major like transfer stories: Mane leaving Liverpool, Lukaku, the Chelsea saga. Just your brief thoughts on any of the main transfer news, and then before we wrap up.
Well, for me, it's difficult transfer news because you hear all that, and West Ham are nowhere near that. West Ham, funny enough, Lingard could come back, possibility. I've read something about even Rashford's looking to get out of United. Could be a possibility. West Ham need a striker, full stop. But we're not in the market for people like Mane and that. So, but I just think players like Mane, he's done well at Liverpool. Maybe another move in him might be good. Yeah, Bayern Munich, fine. Lukaku needs to leave Chelsea. Whether he goes back to Inter Milan or not, that's up to him. The gentleman whose name I always can't pronounce correctly, where's he going to end up? The old Bayern Munich striker, Lewandowski.
Oh yeah, Robert Lewandowski. Yeah.
Where's he going to end up? Is he too old for the Premier League, or will he go?
For me, I want him. In fact, I'll take him. I'll take him for a season. To be honest,
I think he'll do a season or two in the Premier League.
I want him to come to us.
Interesting to see where he goes. I don't think Liverpool or City will go for him, so it could be United or Chelsea might pick him up.
We desperately need him.
But it'd be interesting. But transfers are transfers. You never know exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah, we'll delve into transfers when some become official. Was that anything to add before we wrap up?
I mean, yeah, with United, we're going to be obviously linked with every single player in the world. Obviously, we just signed Ten Hag as a manager, but I'll be honest, as much as I would love to have my hopes up, we've seen this before. We've had a top class manager come in, do great for a few games, and then the hype falls down, expectations just goes down as well. So I'm just going to keep quiet and just see what he's going to do, if he's going to rejuvenate the team. I think the philosophy and the team needs to change. Just to quickly touch on Ralph Rangnick also leaving. It's just I agree with that decision. I was speaking to Sion earlier. I do not agree with Rangnick, wanting to be a part-time director and a part-time manager. That's rubbish. I mean, for a club as prestigious as Manchester United,
they had to
you have to put your heart in 100%. I don't want any team members or any players or any squad staff.
With something, you're spot on. You're at Man United, you're there full time, period. It's such a big club. That's what you've got to do. Spot on. They did well to get rid of him in the end. I think for your Man United, it's more of who you're going to clear out. You need to have a massive clear out of players, and then you can start rebuilding before you start thinking about transfers and that. But it's going to be an interesting season. We've got to say goodbye to Norwich, Watford, and Burnley, haven't we? And we've got to welcome Fulham, Bournemouth, and Notts Forest. So let's hope at least.
I'm excited to see Notts Forest, and I know
let's hope one or two of
their
them
European Cups as well, so they can wind up on Spurs fans. Love it.
But yeah, go and wrap it up, Sion, because
so that's the end of the show, guys. We'll be coming up with producing content throughout the summer, mainly linked with transfer news, etc. We've got a quiz coming up, so look out for that, where we'll go head to head against each other, seeing how much we can remember from the season just finished. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, like, subscribe, and share if you've enjoyed the video. We'll see you all again soon.
Take care.
See you later.